former head of New Orleans 911 call center has pleaded not guilty to 4 charges. All of them stem from a wreck he was in last year, where he's accused of breaking city policy and trying to cover it up. Rachel Hanley brings us what happened in court today.
Standing behind his attorney,
we just filed some motions today. We're asking
the former director of New Orleans 911 operations stayed silent.
And we intend to test the legal sufficiency of the case at this point.
Minutes before, Tyrell Morris had pleaded not guilty to charges stemming from a wreck last year. Video obtained by WWL shows Morris veer to the right and hit another car. Then he pulls behind the car with his emergency lights on. That driver told the state Morris asked about his insurance and license, then threatened to call, quote, another cop. Morris was not a cop himself.
This would be a big deal if this were a plumber or an electrician. It's an even bigger deal when the person who committed these actions was the head of 911.
District Attorney Jason Williams says the state has plenty of evidence in this case. That also includes what happened next. Morris did not take a drug and alcohol test, which he was supposed to do under city policy. When our investigators pressed him, he turned over a copy of the policy that said he didn't have to take the test. But metadata showed he had altered that document days after the crash.
I think it's safe to say the cover-up was as bad, or the attempted cover-up was as bad, if not worse, than the initial criminal activity.
Wednesday, he was arraigned for charges of malfeasance in office, injuring public records, insurance fraud, and impersonating a peace officer.
The evidence is overwhelming.
Do you have any evidence to prove his innocence?
We will be testing the legal sufficiency of the case at the next hearing.
That means he's keeping his options open. He is going to see what the evidence is against Mr. Morris and then consult with his client and make some decisions about what the next steps are.
Loyola law professor Dane Ciolino thinks it's likely those next steps could include a plea deal.
This is not a case where the lawyer was standing on the courtroom steps protesting his client's innocence.
We'll get a better look at the defense's plan at the discovery hearing. Rachel Hanley, WWL Louisiana.
2 of the most serious charges against Morris carry a maximum sentence of 5 years in prison.